We are locked and loaded and ready to roll on this getaway Twilight Friday afternoon at Gulfstream Park. Keisha Courtney, Jason Blewett, happy to have you, delighted to have you with us here on this 9-race Twilight Friday. We'll start a little after 2:15 p.m. and that will usher, believe it or not, the final weekend in September, and of course, our final closing weekend here at GP.
We're wrapping things up here for the summer meet. It's been a fantastic summer. Kicked things off on July 1st, and we've been going strong ever since. And thank you for following along with us this summer. We'll wrap things up on Sunday, as Jason mentioned, and then on Wednesday, we will start at Gulfstream Park West.
All right, final round, third and final round of that 2017 very rich and prestigious Florida Sire Stakes commences here tomorrow afternoon with that 14-race Saturday card. The Colts in the In Reality, the 2-year-old fillies in the My Dear Girl. More on that as this show progresses. How about taking me on today? Take your best shot. I'm giving you your chance to take me down to the mat. You can play for free on our Facebook page, and I love it every Friday, whether it's Acacia, Ronnie, or myself. These Beat the Expert Fridays are just a good time.
And we'll be taking a hiatus from Beat the Expert until the championship meet, so this is your last chance for the next couple of months. So come on down and take a stab against Jason.
Bring it on. I am ready with today's 9-race card. By the way, some rain in the area earlier today. Right now, though, the sun is out. It's pretty nice out here. We are obviously sloppy and good, and things are really tightened up in the race to be leading trainer and jockey here during the summer meet. Up first, the trainers, Victor Barboza Jr., I thought at the very least would walk away with at least one win yesterday. It didn't work out. He lost the second race by a really tough nose with the Vicky Queen. But he is undeterred, and he is back in the mix today, along with Ralph Nix and Antonio Sano.
And Ralph did have a couple of wins yesterday, and looks like both of them have some live runners throughout the next couple of days, and it certainly has proved to be a very interesting and exciting trainers race.
And as far as the jockeys go, Tyler Gaffalione has that slim one victory lead over Misael Jaramillo, and I would not even count out jockey Edgar Zayas, who is loaded with a number of good horses throughout this closing weekend, Acacia, including Sunday afternoon with Curlin's approval.
She'll be running in the Barely Even with a prep for the Breeders' Cup for Happy Altar, and we'll be excited to see her race here at her home track.
Oh, it's so awesome. She won the Grade 2 Princess Rooney. Speaking of that opening day of the summer meet, Summit of Speed Day, July 1st, she was the box office star with that powerful win, and she will prep for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. We hope to build up the bankroll. That is the case throughout this closing weekend at Gulfstream Park, and our task at hand begins in Friday's first race over the sloppy main track. That is the beginning, the jumping off point of the 50-cent early pick 5. A bit later on, we will have our opening super high 5 and a carryover of about $1,700.
Pretty nice carryover. That starts in the 4th race, and that's any race with 7 or more horses. So don't forget to keep an eye out for that super high 5 throughout the afternoon. The 4th race is also what kicks off the Rainbow 6, and we have a carryover building in that just shy of $18,000.
And a late pick 5 coming your way down the line in an action-packed 5th race on the card. Sloppy and good. And let's get right down to it. The first of 9 coming away a little after 2:15 p.m. As we say, we're on a relaxed schedule down here. We're on a South Florida beach time schedule. So maybe 2:15-ish plus 5 minutes is the starting point, and that will be your launching pad for the early pick 5.
We'll show you my ticket to start things off in the early pick 5. We talked about this beforehand. The number 7, Dream Saturday, early favorite right now, absolutely figures. I cannot take this horse at a short price. It's been a long time between wins, but we'll see. He absolutely figures, and I will use him in the opening leg of the pick 5. Biggest question in the second race is can Nikki Bella stay undefeated? She came off of a big layoff last time and got an impressive win. We'll see if she can make it 2 in a row off of the bench. Third race going to be just using 2 horses, then Kuquiva Koa and the 6 Miss Visconti are the strongest as far as recent form. And then we have a really interesting maiden race in the 4th. We'll see the return of Robusto, who started out here at Gulfstream, and it looked like his strongest races were right here on this turf course for trainer Todd Pletcher. Still looking for the maiden win. I'll back myself up with Archer Road. And then in the 5th race, just going to be using 2 horses as well. I almost singled Grand Fortress, second-time starter, but backed myself up with Aristelli's.
2 trainers, in fact, in that back end, race number 5, and Antonio Sano and Victor Barboza Jr., who have a chance to be leading trainers here. I know Antonio's won the Gulfstream Park training title in the past, last summer, in fact, and that is really before he became more or less a household name with the exploits of Gunnevera throughout the championship meet through the Kentucky Derby. But I'll tell you, Victor Barboza Jr., we know he wants to win it very badly, and I'm pulling for him just as a first ever potential stateside training title.
Yeah, and yesterday I was actually talking to a couple of the owners from Gran Pollo Stables, one of his big owners, and they were saying it's been such an exciting and fun, fantastic summer, and they only hope that it keeps going.
Yeah, he's a trainer whose stock is only going to rise as we get closer to that championship meet. Now, as far as the first race goes, it really depends upon what you want to do and your opinion of the outside runner, the 7 Dream Saturday, who's got Tyler Gaffalione. It's a simple case. I think it goes one of two ways, and I am clearly in the camp thinking that the way this is going to go is this is a somewhat reasonable drop, even if he gets claimed with the horse, who, by the way, as he drops in for $20,000, has not won a race since late February of 2015 up at our sister track, Laurel Racecourse in Maryland. Or you're clearly in the camp of a short price favorite, and this might just be a claim me give up drop here with a horse who might just be going the wrong way.
It looks like a little bit of a last-ditch effort with him in that he's run respectably, very respectably, in fact, in his last couple of races in stakes competition. And if you look back into some of his previous form, they did try dropping him into the claiming ranks before. That was against $30,000 types back in April. He wasn't picked up for the claim that day. He ran well, but he was still beaten in there. He's a consistent check getter. He's always right there, but it's been, as you said, a very long time since he won, and it has been a rather cool summer for the barn as well. So I think he's a vulnerable favorite. Again, I used him on the first leg of the pick 5. I think you kind of have to.
You've got to use him.
You have to back yourself up. Looking at Royal Mine, I don't think he's any sort of sure thing either. He's been second in his last 3 starts, won for trainer Peter Walder, which was a sloppy track last time. But I do think that he could be the other horse, if you will, and he could be up close to the pace.
Oh, I think he is the main danger. If you don't get the good, relatively speaking, Dream Saturday, Royal Mile, to me, is going to be right there in the thick of things at crunch time, as will the number 3 Scam, who's done some pretty good things. I know he doesn't win all the time, but he's had a solid career.
He really has. He's been ultra consistent. There are very few kind of toss-out races in there.
Yeah, good old Phipps homebred here, former Phipps homebred with the Black and Cherry by Giants Causeway out of Smuggler. Moving on to Friday's second race, a high-priced allowance optional claimer. It's a pretty good field we have set to rumble, and an all-main track, an all-sloppy track, early double today at Gulfstream Park, and it's really a case, I think, this race might just be as simple as the number 2 Nikki Bella, and I'm anxious to see where ultimately she'll top out, because she was bet off that lengthy layoff at a race we're about to show you like this was a one-horse affair, and she ran fast and she ran well.
She did, and she was running against some pretty tough horses as well, in the likes of Worth Avenue and even Truge in there. She kind of ended up pulling away nicely from there, and if we can just freeze right there, again, this is Worth Avenue, a Mirage horse who's been in very, very good form and a really tough runner at that. On the front end is Nikki Bella. She came off of the layoff looking ready to go, and we'll just let it go down to the wire. Impressive performance from her. We'll see if she can repeat it.
Horses are 0 for 3 coming out of that allowance race, which did come up, at least as far as Beyer goes, came up a pretty fast effort for the level with an 82 fig. She's had some time, though. That's the good thing. They've given her about a month between races. She came back to work a really crisp half mile over the Gulfstream main track about a week ago, in fact, last Friday afternoon on September the 22nd, and we'll see how she does stepping up and meeting this caliber for the first time. We also have 2 in the race for trainer Ralph Nix, and among Ralph's horses are the number 4 Lucky Switch, who you've got second and I've got third, or fourth, excuse me, and it's nice seeing jockey Jose Valdivia Jr. off a 3rd consecutive Arlington Park riding title back in South Florida.
He is. He'll be riding here today and tomorrow, so keep an eye out for him. I think he has actually a couple horses for Ralph in today, and I did think Lucky Switch Second off the bench. Looking at her last time, I thought she might need a race. So second off the layoff, and I thought she was probably the strongest closer in the race.
Let's move on to race number 3 with the second, the early double out of the way. Third race this afternoon. 3 races over the main track to start things out. We go with a field of 6 in this 3-and-up filly and mare optional $10,000 claiming race, and the conditions really fit the number 1 Coquiva Koa so snugly, and we have sung the praises. And if you've been following Gulfstream Park over the summer months, I think it's impossible with limited stock for sure. She doesn't come at you with a barn full of 1,000 runners, but the job trainer Tammy Levy has done has really been outstanding. And to me, this is just very shrewd placement with a horse who ultimately, even though she's got to deal with that crummy inside post at 7/8, she's supposed to prove the class of the field for a trainer who will show you a stat. It's got very good numbers, basically striking when the iron is hot.
Yeah, she does an excellent job, just as you said, and she does even a better job of keeping horses in form. And I love any of her stats, really, with winners last time out, in the money last time out. Once she gets horses in good form again, she's able to keep them in good form. And we'll just show that last race for Coquiva Koa, because I thought she ran a huge performance this day. She was the number 8. She does have to deal with the inside post today, as you mentioned. I hope she kind of gets stalking trip covered up nicely. And I thought here she kind of went to the attack of the number 4 horse Competitive Player, and the 2 of them put on a big show in front of the rest of the field, and she was game on the outside.
I was a fan of Competitive Player. I thought she looked on this day like a sneaky horse who had some races going back for Peter Walder last summer before she had been claimed away, and she ran well, and they gapped out the field, and I see no reason, and she's not in for the tag today, Coquiva Koa. She's supposed to, I think, either get covered up like you said, or she's supposed to bound to the lead like she's just the most talented in the race, and she has run well despite not winning in a couple of wet track efforts in the past. And for Acacia and myself, it's a cold 1-6 exacta, as we both have the number 6 Miss Visconti second, whose stock, I would say, off her last race definitely went up.
Absolutely. She was a very good second on the sealed sloppy track last time. Not to mention it was behind Amaluna, who came back with another big win. That horse has been in excellent form lately.
All right, let's move on to race number 4, opening leg of Friday's Rainbow, but we will do so after a little breather on the show. Stay tied on. Acacia and I will be back in just a moment.
At ExpressBet, we celebrate the champions that make horse racing great. That's why we provide more ways to bet from more places than ever. We've built an entire family of brands to give players more of the rewards they deserve, give bettors the information they need to win, and provide a community for horse bettors. Because the best way to support the champions of horse racing is to champion horse racing. ExpressBet. We are racing.
Saturday, September 30th, don't miss the Florida Sire Stakes finale, a thrilling afternoon of stakes action featuring the In Reality and My Dear Girl divisions of the Florida Sire Stakes. Sunday, October 1st, close out the summer racing meet with Fan Appreciation Day. Enjoy $2 burgers, hot dogs, special gifts, and much more. And closing day, Sunday, October 1st, means mandatory payout for all the major pools. Don't miss Gulfstream Park closing weekend of the summer season. Welcome to your playground, Gulfstream Park.
And a hearty welcome back on this live Friday edition of Gulfstream Today with Acacia and Jason. And getting back to this being closing weekend at Gulfstream Park, we do end things with the proverbial exclamation point. I mean, we really capped the meet on the right foot with Saturday's 14-race program. 2, not 1, but 2 $400,000 stakes beginning in the second, the In Reality for the Colts.
We'll kick it off with a 6-horse field, $400,000 purse for the In Reality, and Sutosh, a very short price and I think worthy favorite. He's coming off of a win in the affirmed for trainer Ralph Nixon. Looks like he's going to be able to make it 2 in a row, and don't forget, this is for the first time for all of them that they'll be stretching out around 2 turns.
And that's the case with the fillies way down the line. You've got the boys in race 2, the young gals in race number 13 of 14. Field of 10, you've got a bigger group, but I'll tell you, we have seen Tyler Gaffleone spend a number of Saturdays riding up in the Northeast somewhere. This Saturday, however, he is set to go riding Sutosh, picking up the mount on that horse from Eric Consell, and Declan Cannon rode the morning line favorite, Desert Honeys, last time out, and you can see Tyler G has the call on the likely favorite in that one.
And you do have the winner of the My Dear Girl, or this is the My Dear Girl, actually, excuse me. The winner of the last race is Susan's Girl, I believe it was.
It is so hard to remember. Yes.
Straight, making sure I get the right one. But Starship Bonita will try to make it 2 in a row. She and Desert Hunters were the 1-2 finishers.
All right. Race number 4 this afternoon as we get back to the Friday action, and on a rare 9-race card here at Gulfstream Park. Don't forget, the Rainbow Six gets underway. Got a nice little carryover of about $17,000. And did you single Robusto here?
I did not. I used a little bit of coverage. I was a little bit nervous. I think you can potentially single Robusto, as if you look back at the horses that he was running against in April and May, he ran into the very tough Hieroglyphics. Flag Officer had experience on him in the debut race.
Those were good races, too.
Very, very good races. And I used Archer Road because I think that he is a horse that's on the upswing. He has some really good works. Maybe trying to maybe get a little bit of a price in the first leg, and I kept it affordable anyway, just using 2 horses in the 5th as well. Going to be going with 3 in the 6th race. I think perhaps Sound Value's the one to beat in there.
Yep.
But again, getting a little bit of coverage. 7th race, I think, is very competitive. I really like Midnight on Broadway at a price. We'll see if Illustrious Sun or Charlie the Greek can get back to the winner's circle. Going to be just using 2 in the 8th race. Very key scratch of thinking Cowtown in there. And then 2 deep in the finale as well. Hopefully we'll get there. Smiling Mason, I think, should get it done second time out for Armando de la Cerda.
Who was bet so strongly first time out. And Armando wheels him back on fairly short notice. And a horse who I think, like you're going to get a much better, stronger effort and hopefully cleaner trip with Smiling Mason here in the nightcap. And I hope you're smiling and maybe jumping up and down with joy after the Rainbow Six.
And you too, because it's Beat the Expert.
It is Beat the Expert Day, and again, you can play for free over on our Gulfstream Park Facebook page. You have until first race post of about 2:15 to sign up. And needless to say, I am in the camp of a very short-priced horse in the 4th in Robusto, who those fields that he caught, just the competition that he caught here in April and May, yes, it was post-championship meet. Those were, as we were saying with your Rainbow Six rundown, those were legitimately solid turf maiden fields, and he obviously ran really well.
Oh, for sure, and we'll show one of those races. This was back on May 27th. This is before they shipped him up to Monmouth. He was the number 9 there that day. He was actually beaten by his stablemate in Hieroglyphics, who is the number 1 horse on the outside. But if we can just freeze it right there. So Robusto actually even had the harder trip. He and 4308 North kind of dueled on the front end, while Hieroglyphics, again, another Pletcher horse, reaped the spoils of that and ended up being able to close as we let it roll. Thought he ran a huge race. Unfortunately, he was bet as the favorite in both of his subsequent races in Monmouth, not able to get it done. He is the type of horse that gets a little bit distracted, and you can even see some lather on his neck in the replay in the afternoon. Maybe the addition of the blinkers will help him with focus.
Could be the case, and maybe he'll just be very happy returning to Gulfstream Park and lining up against the field that ultimately, if he runs, I think, anywhere close to his effort in May that we just looked at, or even his first out effort in late April, he's just better than these. He's faster, and he's going to win at a very short price. The main danger, and ultimately this might be a very short price 2-3 exacta, is the number 3 Archer Road, who's been kind of a slow and steady work in progress for trainer Stanley Gold.
He really has been, and I actually remember liking him running against Robusto back in the spring in one of his very first turf starts. He's taken a while to kind of put things together, but I think his last couple of races showed really where he's supposed to be, and I like that even though he's taken a while, they've never dropped him in class.
All right, that's a good point there. Arundel's got a lot of horses, and they've got one that's potentially live against Robusto in race number 4 for Mr. Stanley Gold, who's got awesome mass. If you're a fan of hers, and that is a bandwagon I was basically the president of, it has dwindled down. She'll be a bigger price taking on that big field in tomorrow's My Dear Girl Stakes.
She does, and Stanley also has 2 fillies trying the turf in the stake prior to that in Denver and Blonde Bomber, so some pretty live horses tomorrow as well.
I love Blonde Bomber. Fan of her. She was the best 2-year-old filly I saw here all summer long. I think she's going to do some good things tomorrow in her turf debut. But let's get through Friday's card, of course, and we continue on with the 5th race. We're back on the main track with a 2-year-old $35,000 maiden claimer, 7 furlongs over the main track. A quick little rundown at my pick 5, which costs $18, and we kick things off. I obviously used 3 in this opening leg, and a number of very sharp barns have horses in the race, including Oscar Gonzalez, Terry Pompey, Jose Pinchin, Victor Barboza Jr., and Antonio Sano. I almost singled Sound Values. You had said he's the horse to beat, and I could not agree any more with that statement. I almost singled him in the 6th, but I do like the effort most recently from the 10 till the end. I like that race that he's coming out of. The field, I thought, was pretty tough for the level. A 2-horse spread for me in race number 7 that includes both natives of Venezuela, who are very good trainers, and Victor Barboza Jr. and Gilberto Zerpa. I am giving, even though she's got to deal with rain-softened turf, I'm giving the talent edge and class edge to Sound Defense as my single in race number 8, and we'll wrap it up with some guesswork in a pretty tricky race number 9, the back end of that $18 pick 5. But in talking about the field here for this opening leg of the sequence, Acacia, I think it's worthwhile starting with trainer Victor Barboza Jr. He has the 3 Grand Fortress, and we will show you a stat. This is a very good trainer who does a good job with those second-time starting maiden claimers.
He really does. It's a great stat, great ROI, more than 30% of the time winning. And this one is out of a stakes-winning mare. She was multiple graded stakes placed, and she actually did win at 2 and was a dirt sprinter. Actually has produced 2 winning foals so far, so we'll see if this one can improve second time out. I certainly imagine, and he's by violence, that he will.
I know you're a fan of Aristelli's, and maybe a case of me just missing the son of Union Rags, who does get Gaffleon for Sana. Case of him just maybe running against better horses up through today's 5th race.
I think he has some dirtied up form, and what made me use him is because originally I looked at this horse and I said I really prefer him on the turf, but then I kind of looked back. He's never run on the dirt with the blinkers on, so maybe that will help him. And it looks like he is still a work in progress. They've been trying to figure out what his preferred surface and preferred level is, and he's also never run on the claiming in a claiming race that was meant for the dirt.
Right, he has never started this cheaply on the main track that was scheduled for the dirt. Perfectly said by you, and a quick turnaround today for Aristelli's, who ran just last Friday. Moving on to race number 6 this afternoon. It could be a case of Sound Values leaving these in his wake this afternoon. He looks pretty solid. He's got the rail. He's been off for about 50 days following a win last time out on August 12th.
And we'll show you that. He was the number 8 that day, and he was actually at the back and had to weave through traffic. So keep your eyes on the number 8 in the white silks. He's got a big white blaze as well, which is pretty easy to tell. The number 1 horse that day was Command Peter, who was setting the pace, and again, he, weaving through traffic, went between horses, and then went on the outside. I thought it was an absolutely beautiful ride from Miguel Vasquez that day. He'll get Tyler Gaffleon a little bit of drifting in the stretch, but he managed to get it done. And in fact, winners last time out on the turf for Angel Rodriguez is actually a strong number. It's about 21%.
Oh, that is a good number, because we have, and he's a very good trainer, does an excellent job placing his horses and keeping horses in consistent form, but he's been more of a trainer I think we've associated with the dirt. So I do like hearing that's a good move for Sound Values. My price idea, the outside runner till the end. You were a big fan of Big Money Machine, who beat this horse by a length and change. Although there were a couple of short price favorites in the nightcap here September 20th that didn't fire, I really think he's coming out of a potentially live race. You, however, have the old 1-6.
It's a very good point, and I think he did improve a lot getting back to the turf last time. I kind of wanted to see him do it again. I ended up using the 6 Leverkusen, who actually does have some really solid back turf form for the hot barn of Victor Barboza,
who's got horses in 4 races on the program, one of them, of course, the 6th. Moving on to the 7th, though, and it's more about Victor Barboza Jr. and even Gilberto Zerpa. They were the 2 I used in race number 7, a main track 7 furlong, 3 and up, $20,000 claiming race. I think there's a lot to like with the inside horse, Illustrious Sun, and clearly a lot to like with the 7, Charlie the Greek, who might, and he's probably going to need a little help, but I think he may just get that assist as far as horses setting up his late run.
I think so too, and that was one of the biggest reasons that I liked him. Last time out, Illustrious Sun and Francesco Appeal made a really good race together, but it looked certainly like Illustrious Sun is going to send from the rail. You have speed in One Fine Ride and even Mo Bourbon as well. Charlie the Greek, very notable jockey change. Demisel Jaramillo as well. We've been saying it's just been riding so great lately.
And so confident, and the same confidence spills over into the camp of Edgar Zayas, who's got the call on Illustrious Sun. Tell us a little bit about the 2 Midnight on Broadway, who I had given a look at because he beat last time out and beat him fair and square, outgamed him. Green Mansions, who's probably about the toughest maiden 35 combat entrant you would ever face.
Yeah, that was actually a very tough race, and I absolutely agree with you. I thought he was very game. It looked like Green Mansions was absolutely the far and above the one to beat that time. Maiden winners last time out in dirt sprints. Joe Orsino is 6 for 30, 20% and an ROI of more than $3. And just looking again at Trip, I thought this one might sit the trip and be a price.
And a 2-win Thursday afternoon here at GP for Jose Batista, who doesn't ride many short-priced horses, but continues to win. It seems a race just about every day, and he is no doubt in the zone with the other riders we mentioned in the 7th. Race number 8 will be the final turf event on the card. It's a 3-and-up filly mare, $25,000 optional claimer. We definitely lost a major player and win candidate via the scratch of the one thinking Cowtown. With her out, you're looking at a shorter price on the 2 horses I think you and I picked on top, first and second, with the 3-7 exacta box. I feel as though, and I'm curious your take, that maybe Sound Defense is just a little bit better than these.
I actually agree with you. I think that she is. The reason I ended up picking Lady Coventry is because I think that Curlin's image is going to keep her honest on the front end. I actually think the whole female family of Curlin's Image can run on the turf, and so I'm not concerned about her running on the turf at all in here. I think she's going to carry that speed. I do think that Sound Defense is potentially the best horse that has been running against the best competition and running well. Again, just Lady Coventry, similar with one of Ralph's earlier horses, second off the layoff, and Jose Valdivia as well.
As he comes off a 140-win Arlington Park meet, considering they only run 70 days or 71 days there through the spring and summertime, finishing up with 140 plus is pretty solid.
And it is, and I know that there had certainly been some ups and downs for him being off for a while due to injury, so great to see him back in the saddle.
No doubt. He's got 2 mounts today. We'll see if he can make them count for leading trainer Ralph Nix, or one of the leading trainers. You know what I mean. Race number 9, let's wrap it up here. These are 2-year-old $25,000 maiden claimers. We end things with a quick one on the main at just 5.5 furlongs, and lo and behold, we like Armando De La Cerda to end the card as Jaramillo stays with the horse. And I can't pick, especially one that took all sorts of play first out by Maltese Dog.
I was just going to say that I actually like a Maltese Dog 2-year-old tomorrow as well that he has.
I'll bring money.
So, yeah, we'll see if we can get a little Armando Maltese Dog double going on. But the blinkers do go on. This 2-year-old, as you said, very well bet first time out. And actually, the dam has been quite a good producer. A couple of stakes winners and stakes place horses.
Could be a couple of live firsters here and there. Ralph Nix has got one with Tyler and Flash the Cash. Kathleen O'Connell and Liz Edgar Zayas to ride her firster by Soldad. We'll see how they bet it. We'll get your opinion and Ronnie's opinion on all the races today, not just race 9 with the youngsters. That'll do it for Acacia and myself. The big man, Pete Aiello, has just joined us on set. He'll be coming your way in just a few short moments with those scratches and changes. We'll see everybody a little before the first.
Sounds good.
All right. Best of luck, everybody.